Shalom, everybody. Sabaya again. I'm going to go in depth in this study in Deuteronomy, the 18th chapter, 15 through 22. And I'm also going to go in depth in Jeremiah 31, verse 31 through 34. Now, I know I did my first couple of videos revolving around this topic, but I definitely want to make sure everyone has all the precepts, because all the subsequent teachings that's going to come are going to be based on the Most High's will according to what He wants concerning Yahawashi and the New Covenant. So from here on, I'm going to be going in depth, and if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask. Type them at the bottom, and I'm going to get back with you as soon as possible. So we're going to start at Deuteronomy, the 18th chapter. Let me get that. And we're going to start at the 15th verse. And it says, Yahweh thy God will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren. Excuse me, like unto me. Unto him ye shall hearken. And when it says he's going to raise up a prophet, what makes a person a prophet is that the Father speaks to them and notifies them His will. So if we turn to the book of Numbers, chapter 12, verse 6 through 8, it says, and he said, and that's the Most High speaking, and he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and I will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of Yahweh shall he behold, meaning he didn't see the Most High's face, but he saw his hinder parts when he passed by him in the mountain. He showed him that much of himself. It says, wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moses? So I went here, and there's a couple other scriptures I could go to, but I went here to let you know that a lot of brothers in Israel are claiming prophethood, yet the Most High never spoke to you. You speaking in the Father's name, or anyone speaking in the Father's name, means just that. You are speaking something that He already said in or through a prophet already. But to call yourself a prophet means the Father would have had to have spoken to you, showed you a vision, given you a vision according to His will, and you speak that to the children of Israel. So I just wanted to just clear that up, because when it says, I will raise them up a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren, which means he would have had to have been one of the children of Israel. Like unto me, unto him shall ye hearken. Now, this is very important, because this part from like unto me into verse 16 and 17 is very important, because this prophet that the Most High is speaking to Moses concerning isn't an ordinary prophet, because the like unto me part has to be clarified. So when it says, like unto me, what was Moses? What did the Father do with Moses to the children of Israel? He came down, he spoke to Moses, and gave Moses a law to give to us. It says in verse 16, according to all that thou desirest of Yahweh thy God in Horeb, in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yahweh my God, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. So in verse 16, let's go to the story, and we will read it with some clarity. We're going to go to Exodus, the 20th chapter, 18 to 21, and then Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter, 22 through 29. So we're going to go to Exodus first, Exodus 20, and pretty much 1 through 21. Now, I'm not going to read everything, but everyone knows that in Exodus 20, is when the Most High came down upon a mountain that burned with fire, and He spoke Himself to the children of Israel the commandments that he gave Moses. In verse 1 it says, "And Yahweh spake all these words, saying, I am Yahweh, thy power, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me." Now I'm going to skip. It's going to say in verse 8, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." So he gave us the laws, he gave us the holy days. But here specifically, he's just speaking the Ten Commandments. I don't want to add nothing to the Most High's word. So I'm going to skip to verse 18. And it says, "And all the people saw the thunderings and lightnings and the noise of the trumpet and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, Speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not Yahweh speak with us, lest we die." So when the Most High spoke to Moses and said, "I will raise them up a prophet like unto thee," the Most High gave Moses the law to give to the children of Israel. That's what Moses did. And let me get Deuteronomy 5:22 just for the sake of, that's what I said I was going to. These are just the precepts that tell this story. Deuteronomy, the 5th chapter, we'll start from verse 22. And it's pretty much reciting what is written in Exodus. "These words Yahweh spake unto all the assembly in the mount of the midst of the fire, of the cloud, of the thick darkness, with a great voice, and he added no more." So he only spoke 10 commandments to Moses. "And he wrote them in 2 tables of stone and delivered them unto me." So that prophet that the Most High was saying he was going to raise up to the children of Israel was going to come bringing a law to the children of Israel. That's what it means, like unto me. Everything else that Moses was subsequently is based on this precipice. Moses was a lawgiver. So the prophet that we were looking for was supposed to come and bring us a law. Moses was a mediator of that law between the Father and Israel. So the prophet would have been a mediator. Moses was an intercessor. A lot of these things are all relevant to when the Most High says, "I will raise them up a prophet like unto me," which means like unto Moses. "Unto him ye shall hear." Also, what happened concerning being like Moses is Exodus 24, verse 3 through 8. Because you have to understand the whole process of what the Most High did with Moses. Exodus 24, and how all of this is a shadow that leads up to Yahawashi. Because we all believe that Yahawashi, which we call Jesus Christ in a different language, was that prophet. So to understand the Most High's will for Yahawashi, we got to go back and see that. So in Exodus 24, we'll start from verse 3 through 8. It says, "And Moses came and told the people all the words of Yahweh and all the judgments. And all the people answered with one voice and said, All the words which Yahweh has said will we do." So when the Most High told Moses, "This is what I want the children of Israel to do," he told Moses. Moses came down from the mount, told the children of Israel. We agreed to it. That was the beginning of a contract, the beginning of a covenant. A covenant is agreement between two parties. It says in verse 4, "And Moses wrote all the words of Yahweh, and rose up early in the morning, and built an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars according to the 12 tribes of Israel. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto Yahweh. And Moses took half of the blood and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar." This is the important part. Verse 7, "And he took the book of the covenant, which was the laws that the Most High spoke to Moses." It's the book of the covenant, the agreement, the laws, "and read it in the audience of the people. And they said, All that Yahweh hath said will we do, and be obedient. And Moses took the blood and sprinkled it on the people," which is the children of Israel, "and said, Behold, the blood of the covenant which Yahweh hath made with you concerning all these words. So the blood of the bull is what enjoined, which bonded the children of Israel to the laws that the Father spoke to us through Moses. So the prophet, if we go back to Deuteronomy 18, so we all can bring this to a good conclusion, it says, I will raise them up a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren. So he would have to been an Israelite, like unto me, like unto Moses. Unto him ye shall hearken, according to all that thou desirest of Yahweh thy God in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yahweh my God, neither let me see this great fire any more, that I die not. And Yahweh said unto me, they have well spoken, which they have spoken. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee. So that prophet would have come, the one that we were looking for, was supposed to come and bring us a law and bond it to us through sacrifice, like unto thee. And will put my words in his mouth. The same way he spoke to Moses and Moses spoke to Israel, that's how that prophet would have been. And he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. So we know that the words that the prophet would have had would have been commandments from the Father. A law and commandments. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, Yahweh's words, which he shall speak in my name, meaning in his person, he will require it of him. So Yahweh, we already know that's his physical name. Some people pronounce it differently. I'm not going to get into a whole bunch of linguistics, because he knows what you're trying to say, although you may not know how to say it. I'm not judge, he is. So I'll call him Yahweh. Some groups that call him Yahuwah. There are some groups that call him Jehovah. You know, that's where the Most High has them at in their learning. So I'm not going to judge another man's servant. That's not my job. My job is just to minister his word. So I know that Yahweh said, and it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which he shall speak in my name, he will require it of him. So this prophet that was coming, speaking the law to the children of Israel in the Father's name, was what we were looking for. And that prophet who was bringing that law would have ratified or bonded, not ratified, it's the wrong word, bonded that law to us as a covenant to Israel. That's what Deuteronomy 18:15 through 19 is about. The same way the Father made a law, gave us a law, and made a covenant with us in that law, that is the same duty that this prophet was supposed to come and do. So we were looking for another lawgiver. Now, understanding verse 20 through 22, it says, but the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, or thou shalt speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. So if anyone, and this is very serious, anyone who's saying they're speaking in the name of the Most High, and you're not speaking according to the doctrine that the Father said that prophet was speaking, you're considered a false prophet, and you're going to die. Now, there are a lot of instances that the children of Israel, those of us who know we're Israelites, it's easier for us to point out, yeah, these Edomite pastors, this one and that one, and this one, they're all false. And ones who don't know that they're the children of Israel, like T.D. Jakes or Creflo Dollar and all of them, who we clearly see are not prophets of the Most High. We see and always apply the false prophet scriptures to them. But we have to follow the teachings of Yahawashi and we're trying to sit here and look at other brothers, we got to check ourselves. Are we speaking as Israelites, followers and disciples of one Lord, which is Yahawashi, and one mighty power, which is Yahweh? Are we following those words properly, according to his will, not our own? Not our own particular sects. See, now, I'm not going to get too deep into that, but this is serious what he's saying. So, and it says, and if thou shalt say in thine heart, how shall we know the word which Yahweh hath spoken? When a prophet speaketh in the name of Yahweh, if the thing follow not nor come to pass, then the thing which Yahweh hath not spoken, but the prophet hath spoken it presumptuously, thou shalt not be afraid of him, because eventually he's going to die. So within Israel, our nation as a body, if you are spitting prophecies out of your mouth, the Lord is coming back during this time, these particular events are going to be happening at this particular time, and it doesn't happen, that constitutes you as a false prophet, because you're speaking those things in Yahweh's name. There's nothing you can do to cover that up but repent. You need to pray the Most High will forgive you and learn his will and speak properly. Learn first before you speak. So be very, very careful. Now it says, I want to go back up a little bit, because Deuteronomy 18 is, of course, everyone believes and understands that that's talking about Yahawashi. So I just want to go into a few scriptures before I get into Jeremiah 31. Get John, the 12th chapter. We want to read from verse 44 to 50. Which reads, and Yahawashi cried and said, he that believeth on me, believeth not on me, but on him that sent me. So our faith, although we do believe in Yahawashi, we have to have in our understanding that we're believing in the words that the Father gave Yahawashi to teach us. The law, or a law. I'm going to clarify in a moment. And he that seeth him, he that seeth me, seeth him that sent me. Not physically see, but understanding with your mind and with your heart. If you see what Yahawashi came to do and teach, you see the person who sent him. He says, I'm come a light into the world, that whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness. So you have to be careful how you're walking, whether you're an Israelite and you know who you are, or whether you're just watching for the first time and you're trying to follow Christ and you're participating in a different religion that Yahawashi didn't teach, or you're worshiping things he didn't worship. You better be careful of the darkness that you may be walking in. He's that light that leads us out of the darkness. His teachings. We're going to go into that a lot further. Verse 47. If any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. For I came not to judge the world, but to save the world. And this is the mistake a lot of brothers are doing. You ain't going to make it in the kingdom. You this, you that. Listen, we have to follow Yahawashi's teachings, and then we're all going to be judged by him on the day of judgment, if we make it that far. So prior to that, it's like saying you won the race and you still running a race. How are you going to be fighting in a boxing match, a wrestling match, or whatever you want to compare, basketball game, a football game? Yeah, we already won. Yeah, we got this. You up 21 points, whatever sport you want to use an example, and then they come back and beat you. You fell short of the mark of winning. So how are we going to sit here and prejudge a brother, and it's up to the Most High to deal with who he's dealing with? He didn't himself judge anyone. So we have to be careful. If any man hear his words and believe not, he judge him not. For he came not to judge, but to save the world. So we have to follow his teachings in order to be saved. He'll be the end and final judge. Him and the 12 apostles, like he said. He that rejecteth me, we're in verse 48. He that rejecteth me and receiveth not my words hath one that judges him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day. So the words that he received from the Father, if we don't hear those words and live by them and put them in our minds and put them in our hearts, those words that he spoke, those teachings, are going to judge us in the last day. So if you reject Yahawashi and his teachings, you're going to be judged based on your lack of faith and your lack of works. Verse 49, for I have not spoken of myself, which means he didn't make this up. He didn't make up anything that he said to the children of Israel on his own. The Father gave him a commandment. It says, but the Father which sent me, he gave me a commandment, what I should say and what I should speak. So we know back in Deuteronomy 18, when he says, and he shall speak all that I shall command him. So all those things that the Father gave Yahawashi, the instructions for us, are commandments. We should look at the teachings of Yahawashi with the same austerity like we did when we were under the first covenant. Now he says, he gave me a commandment in verse 49, what I should say and what I should speak. And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. So the teachings of the new covenant we know is eternal life. If you didn't know, now you know. This is what he means by this in verse 49. In verse 49. It says, and whatsoever I speak therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak. So in Deuteronomy 18, you have to understand when he says, in verse 19, 18 and 19, and he says, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him. And it shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words which he shall speak in my name, I will require it of him. Meaning, in the last days, you're going to be judged based on your faith in Yahawashi. All right. Also, I'm going to go into the book of Micah. Just some things touching this concerning Yahawashi. Micah, the 5th chapter. We're going to go from verse 1 through 4. Excuse me. It says, now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. He hath laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek. So the judge of Israel we know is Yahawashi. They smote him, we know, when he was brought to the Pharisees in their chamber. And also, he was smitten when he went before Pilate. When he says, gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. So he's telling to the children of Israel, gather yourself together. He hath laid siege against us. So the Romans and also America in these last days is going to lay siege against us. But in particular, this is speaking concerning Yahawashi's time. Verse 2. But thou, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me, that is to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been of old, from everlasting. So the Most High is letting us know that this person is going to be born in Bethlehem was going to be the ruler of the children of Israel. He shall come forth unto me, who has been from everlasting, letting us know that this person that's going to be born in Israel has been here since eternity. Which also was going to go into the breakdown of him being the high priest Melchizedek, or is known as Melchizedek. Verse 3. Therefore will he give them up until the time that she which travaileth has brought forth. Then the remnant of his brethren shall return unto the children of Israel. So he says he will give them up to the time that she brought forth. Then the remnant of his brethren, starting from the disciples and the 70 and those that believed on him, going to return into the children of Israel. They're all going to come back to the knowledge of not only who they are, but follow the gospel the right way, the new covenant, the proper way. Verse 4, and he shall stand and feed in the strength of Yahweh, in the majesty of the name of Yahweh, his God. So Yahawashi walked in the commandments and the laws that the Father gave him to walk in. It says, for now shall, and they shall abide, meaning the disciples and the 70 and those that believed on afterward, they shall also abide in the name of Yahweh through Yahawashi. So when the Father gave Yahweh when the Father gave Yahawashi commandments, Yahawashi walked in the Father's name. So when Yahawashi gave the disciples those same commandments, they walked in that person, in that name. That's what it means, and they shall abide. For now shall he be great unto the ends of the earth. Meaning the Most High was going to do things with Yahawashi, starting from his resurrection from the dead, making him king in Israel. He was high priest. He was their prophet. He shall be great. No man can eclipse what Yahawashi is. He is the Son of the Most High. Also get Psalms 91. Get this also for our edification. Psalms 91. We're going to start at verse pretty much the whole scripture goes from verse 9 through 16. This is also the scripture that when Yahawashi was tempted, Satan came to him and had the nerve to quote it to try to tempt him. So I'm going to read from that point and skip a little bit, just to, for time's sake. Verse 9 says, because thou hast made Yahweh, which is my refuge, David is speaking, because thou hast made Yahweh, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation, there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. So that's the part that Satan quoted. And Yahawashi came back at him and said, you're never supposed to tempt the Most High. So the rest of the verse reads, thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shall thou trample under feet. So he's going to conquer all things. Because he has set his love upon me. Now, David is speaking this in the Father's person. So understand that the Most High is saying concerning Yahawashi, or the Spirit of Christ, which was in David. Because he, Yahawashi, has set his love upon me, which is Yahweh, therefore will I deliver him. He was going to raise him from the dead. I will set him on high, which is the right hand of the Father. This is the precept that you pull before the 110th Psalm. Because he hath known my name. Not just the physical name. A lot of brothers harping on his physical name. We were Israelites. We all knew the Father's physical name in Judea. But we didn't know the words that he was going to be speaking to that prophet. Because that prophet didn't come. Yahawashi was that prophet. He hath known my name. The Father told him his will. He knew him. That's why he said, no man knoweth the Father save the Son. No man knoweth the Son except the Father, and whomsoever the Father will reveal him. So verse 15 it says, he shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. So Yahawashi trusted in the name of the Father. So we're going to go more into this later. Now we're going to go into Jeremiah 31. Because this is the part where about 90% of the children of Israel who know that the Israelites right now, I'm going to lose you. So just be patient with me. And hear me out because this is very important. Jeremiah verse 31. We're going to start at 31. Now, this being said, with Deuteronomy 18,